You thought I fell off? You're smoking something.
Hello and welcome to Sports Tips UK. I'm Marcus J. Richardson. Who are you?
I'm Adam Thorn.
And today we are going to talk about boxing. Adam Thorn, talk to us.
Well, today, Marcus, I'm going to take you all the way to the King Abdullah Sports Centre in Jeddah.
Saudi Arabia. What? Why the fuck is it in Saudi? Who's fighting in Saudi Arabia? And why is it...
George Groves versus Callum Smith. Do you know what?
Wait a minute. Are we talking about the World Boxing Super Series final?
Super Middleweight World Boxing Super Series Super Final.
We've waited a long time for this. Why are they going to such a despotian country?
Money, I would have assumed.
Good
Just
point.
to cut you off for once. When I write these things, sometimes I write something and I'm like, Marcus is going to fucking kick off about that. I know he's going to get his knickers in a twist about it.
I go commando.
Do you know what, though? When I was looking into this, what's good about it is it's better than it being in America for British fans.
Time-wise.
Time-wise, they're 3 hours ahead of us, so it'll be on at a reasonable time. So we can still watch it. It's not like you're not going to be able to see the fight because it will be on at 5, 6 in the morning.
True.
So
the Saulians, though, they are more European-based. They are going to want to look after the European market.
Yes, of course. And there's obviously 2 British fighters fighting, so that's where the audience is going to be. It was quite funny what George Groves said about it not being fair asking a ginger to fight in in a hot country.
Is it outside?
I don't know the King Abdullah Sports City. Oh, it's probably lovely. A lot of the architecture out there has had loads of money spent on it, obviously.
Well, yeah,
so
because they don't have.
I'm sure it'll have a
planes
roof
dropping bombs on it like they're doing to many countries. Yemen, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Callum Smith and George Groves, big fight. Then Saudi Arabia. Talk to me. Who do you think's actually going to win this one?
You always do that, and you know that every time you do it, I'm going to talk a bit about the fight. It's called telling a story, Marcus.
And I'm trying to speed you the fuck up, Adam. So somewhere we meet in the middle.
Can we talk about what it's for? Other than the super final, the World Boxing Super Series Muhammad Ali Trophy, it's also for George Groves' WBA Super Middleweight title. And get this, Callum Smith's WBC Diamond title.
Pardon?
Yeah, see, again, that was another bit of the thing where I knew you were going to go, what the hell's that?
Why? But Groves won't even want that. He's already...
Well, apparently
but
it
it means
should
he
help.
could then get the WBC mandatory.
Right. He'll get, pretty much, basically. Okay. That's exactly it.
So that's like the silver title for the WBC.
No, because the WBC have a silver title already. So, yeah, I know. Let's just...
So, anyway, moving on. There's 26 belts up for grabs and a trophy. And also to be the man in that weight division, let's be honest.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, whoever
De Gale's fudged himself in the ass, so...
De Gale has made a massive faux pas.
Faux pas.
Yeah, have you seen who he's fighting as well? Have you seen...
De Gale, what, he's announced, is he on the...
Oh yeah, he said he wanted to leave the IBF belt to go and make more money in other fights, and he's fighting some guy that nobody's ever heard of on an undercard.
What's happened to him? You and I used to be big fans of De Gale, and he just sort of, he's lost his way. This happens after big injuries, though, for a lot of sportsmen, doesn't it?
It does, and talking of big injuries, we all know what happened to George Groves in the semi-final, last round of the semi-final.
Exactly.
If you've not seen it, type in George Groves shoulder injury. It's not horrifying, but you see him throw a jab out, and you see it land limp by his side, and he's trying to move his shoulder, and it's just not working. And we were there for that fight, Chris and I, and the Southpaw Jab team.
Southpaw Jab?
It wasn't that obvious at the time. Fighters that injure themselves out of the public eye all the time. He just happened to do it on quite a big stage that everybody knows about it, which is why everybody's talking about it.
But the Saulians almost didn't give him time to recover, though, didn't they? They wanted to...
They wanted to go straight in. Fortunately, I think there was a lot of public pressure. There was a lot of people saying if you throw Chris Eubank Jr. in the final, basically you're denigrating your whole competition's any sense of importance it has.
And value, yeah.
And value, thank you. So it's good that they've delayed it a bit. I don't give a shit that it's in Jeddah, although I would have quite liked to have gone and seen it if it was in England. And it's a really interesting fight because there's actually only 2 years between them. Everybody goes on about how George Groves is an older fighter. George Groves has had more fights at world level. I would argue that actually Callum Smith hasn't really fought at proper world level yet. I mean, who's he fought in the competition? Eric Skoglund and a kickboxer.
Talk to me. Who do you think's going to win?
As long as the shoulder injury holds up, I really fancy Groves. I think it will be a really decent fight. They can both bang, but George Groves can bang at world level. Carl Froch found that out, and Carl Froch is like there's a granite chin. He's the least chinny man you've ever seen.
Well, I mean, for me, that was one of the best fights I've ever seen, the first fight between him and Froch. If you think how young Groves was then, you'd like to think that he has the experience and the power.
And also, he's got Shane McGuigan.
I would say, for me personally, it's Groves' knockout, but what are you going to say?
I think it will probably go to points, because I think they can both hurt one another, and it will be wary of that. George will be wary of the shoulder trying to control the fight.
I suppose the shoulder is going to have an impact.
I think neither of them are going to get a hometown decision, because they're both British fighters and they're fighting in Jeddah.
So, okay then, so you fancy a Groves points victory there?
Do.
Yeah, okay. I fancy Groves to win by knockout. Who's actually fighting on the same night?
You've got over in America in California, you've got out California way. No? Fighting?
I mean, Great.
I was just following your lead, mate.
I know. Don't follow my lead. Jesus, I'll lead you down a wrong path. Go on, brother.
Anyway, so
brother.
this
who do you think? Go on, brother. Who am I? When did I become a pastor? Carry on.
What I want to talk about is a really interesting...
What do you want to talk about, Adam?
Devin Haney.
Okay.
And
Isn't he one of Mayweather's guys?
No. So this is what I want to talk about. He trains in the Mayweather gym, or at least he does sometimes. And he did when I was out there. And we met him, senior sparred him, talked to him and his dad. Nice guys, down to earth. I mean, he's down to earth as a 19-year-old who's got a 19-0 record can be.
He's got 19
19-0.
And he's 19.
And 19 and 13 knockouts.
Has he got somewhat of a Deontay Wilder opening kind of record?
No, he's won like world titles at youth level. He's beaten tough former world champion. Isn't he fighting a former world champion in this fight? What's interesting about this is he was struggling to get on shows. He's from California. He was struggling to get out. He had loads of fights and they pull-outs and they just couldn't get in things. I don't know the ins and outs of it exactly, but basically it came down to people not wanting to fight him and him living in California, it being a ball ache to go back and forth to go around for fights. Because if you go to America, there's only actually a couple of places where they have shows on. Right. It is really hard. When we were out there, we were looking for other shows in Las Vegas. They don't have like we have small hall shows. Right. They only have like the bigger televised stuff. So what he's done, he's become the world's youngest boxing promoter at 19.
Don't you have to pay a lot of... Well, I suppose he's earned a lot of money then.
He's earned a bit of money.
Because you have to pay quite a lot to be a promoter, don't you?
I don't know. I don't know how it works in America. It's different to in England. Because in England you can't become a promoter or manager without having held a license in some other position for 2 years. I don't know whether it's the same in America. A lot of the time it's just you grease their palm.
Ooh, greasy palm!
I know that's what happens in Las Vegas. Look at the Mayweather fight with the 8-ounce gloves. The fact of the matter is, he was struggling to get out. He's taken the initiative with his dad, William Bill Haney.
Willie Haney. He probably will.
I really wouldn't call him that to his face. They've started this promotional company, Devin Haney Promotions. They've got a show on this weekend, which he's headlining. And
so they've put the show on themselves?
Yeah, so this is their show. It's his first show as a promoter. He's the youngest promoter in the world.
And is he promoting any other boxers?
Yeah, he's got a few young talents. He's signed people up. I'll quickly talk about his fight with Juan Carlos Burgos, who's been around a long time. He's back maybe 10 or 11 years older than Haney. He's fought for world titles.
But then that's still only 30. So he's not like...
I know. It doesn't make him an old man. He's had 35 fights, something like that. He's fought for a world title. He's won silver titles. So he's no mug, but Haney, he's fought a super feather, and this is at lightweight. So I think this is tailor-made for Haney to win. Yeah, and he's promoting it. Yeah. So yeah, he's unlikely to go, oh, I'll take that really tough challenge from my first fight, as my own promoter. But it's still a good name on his record, do you know what I mean? Yeah.
So do you think he's going to get a knockout, or do you think he's the sort of thing he needs to get some rounds under his belt?
I think he probably thinks he'll get a few rounds and then a knockout, you know what I mean? 6-7, and then stop him. Whether he does that or not, I don't know. I fancy him to stop him. Haney's good.
Points for Groves and Smith and a knockout for Haney. If there's no odds, you might need to look like on the day, because sometimes people like Bet365, William Hill, they will add fights on the day.
You might be able to get odds for one fight in the UK though, which is on a British Warriors with Mo Pryor. They've got a show on at York Hall. This is a fantastic fight. Louis Green, 9-0, Southern Area champion, is fighting Chris Congo, 9-0.
Well, we know Chris Congo. You probably know both fighters, but I'm obviously very familiar with Chris Congo.
I actually don't know Louis Green very well. I've never seen him box. I don't know what his style's like. I do, however, know a lot about Chris Congo. Huge amateur pedigree. We've seen him fight. He's exceptional. And he's taking this fight early. Now, I know Mo Pryor is incredibly confident that Congo will win this, but two guys, 9-0 with 5 knockouts and 9-0 with 6 knockouts. This is, when we say small hall classic, this has it written all over it. Two young guys, unbeaten records, title on the line. It's a great show. I'm sure you can still get tickets. Look on Chris Congo or Louis Green's social media or British Warriors. I'm going to be there.
Go and get Adam's autograph, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a good show. It's obviously, like all small hall shows, York Hall, it's got quite a big bill. Mo's got a lot of very good fighters, and he's got a very good reputation from what I hear with the fighters as well. There's always a lot of talent. He's got some top quality amateurs that will be having like their 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th fights on that show as pros. You're going to watch the future of boxing, and Chris Congo is definitely one of the ones who can go to British, European level, if not further.
Well, we've seen Chris Congo on a few Hellraiser nights, and he bangs, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh, the other person on there is Denzel Mensah / Bentley, whatever he goes by. His first 3 fights, his middleweight, were first round stoppage wins, I think. I think he's 5-0 now with 4 stoppages. He's incredible. He's a real talent. So, I mean, these are just names. Archie Sharp. I'm trying to remember who else is on there. I'm sorry, Mo doesn't... I hope I don't get a call from him saying, why didn't you name this guy who's on there? 20 people on the fight.
Well, actually, what we'll do is we will put a link in the video on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, go to us on YouTube. We'll put a link in the video for tickets to the British Warriors Night at York Hall. Moving on to odds for everything, then you don't think that necessarily going to be odds for the Warriors Night, or
you might get odds on Chris Congo. So I would say I would go again. I don't want to go into a Matt McCarthy situation here. I'm backing Chris. I don't know much about Louis Green. He's obviously very good because he's won the belt early. He won the belt. He's had the belt for about 3 fights, I think.
Right.
So he won it very early in his career, and he's still got it. So he's obviously no mug. But I know how good Chris Congo is, and I know how confident Mo is in him. So I'm going to go with Chris Congo on points.
So Chris Congo on points. You've got Groves on points and Devin Haney with a knockout.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you can find those odds, they might be quite decent. I'll stick them there if they're there. If they're not, then who knows? You might just get a picture of a dildo. Anyway, I've been Marcus J. Richardson.
And I've been Captain Spalding.
And yeah, maybe we'll see you
You
next
thought I
time.
fell off?
Peace.
You're smoking something.